Good morning and welcome to the kickoff of our Adventures in Spirituality. It is such a delight to finally step into this long-awaited day. Today is the first day that we're going to take a deep dive together. We have 8 weeks of exploring, 8 weeks of exploring spiritual ideas, of exploring our theology, dogma, serving us and that which is not serving us anymore. So I invite you to just settle in and buckle down and make a commitment to be a part of the Sunday series for the next 8 weeks. I think that when you do this, you'll find that you have spiritual growth, that you uncover new ways of abundant living. This year, as you know, we're studying the book, The Naked Now by Richard Rohr, who is a Franciscan priest. He is an author, he is a contemplative meditation teacher, and he knows how to really put things in a language that I think will speak to a lot of people on the unity path, and that will bring together people who maybe haven't experienced unity before. So if you're new with us and this is a new adventure for you, welcome and dive in. What I want to just bring into this Sunday's experience, to this Sunday conversation, is the difference that vulnerability will make. You know, I teach a lot of classes and I talk to a lot of other ministers and leaders who teach classes. And what we know about teaching and what we know about facilitating a group is that you can have the content, you can have the concept, you can have the lessons, but what you cannot teach and what you cannot create for other people is the experience. The experience is determined by how far you're willing to go to take this material, how deep you're willing to dive, how vulnerable you're willing to be, how much you're willing to see your stuff and to see things in the world differently. So time today can be taken to really dive into the spiritual practice of our commitment, of whether or not we're really on the path of spiritual growth and abundant living, or whether we just like to read and roll around ideas over and over, but we stay the same person. We continue to come from the same consciousness. So are you willing to participate possibly in a small group? For some of you, you're already signed up for a small group that is limited to 10 participants, and those are happening over Zoom. And for some of you, you may be shy of making that commitment. And if that's true, we have our Sunday discussion group. That is just 1 hour long, and it's a drop-in group so that you can come when you need to. And if you need to not be there on some Sunday, you can skip out on it that Sunday, and you can catch up with other people that are in your group later to see what you've missed. So that might be more comfortable for those of you that want to make the commitment, but maybe you have some travel plans or you have some things that will get in the way of a consistent 8-week commitment. But I assure you that the magic happens in a group, whether you're doing one of our small groups or whether you're calling a family member or friend and saying, hey, I'm getting ready to read this book. Will you be my partner? Will you dive into this with me? Whether or not you're getting together a group of 2 friends or 5 friends and exploring this book together, you will have a different experience based on what people bring to the table. Because the caliber of the questions that you ask and the vulnerability that you bring and your ability to share, your ability to willingly go there and share is going to be what ignites or what sometimes deflates the class. We all know what it's like to have someone be off topic or off, on a different tangent, flying into other things, and that doesn't always support the process. And so this is about courageously coming together to stay on track together. We also all probably have had a partner at some point in our lives that have helped us stay focused. I was just working with a couple that's getting ready to get married, and one of the things that they said, because I always ask questions about what they value about each other and what they value about their togetherness. Like, what makes it different that you're with this person particularly, and all the people that you've come across in your life or that you could have chosen to have a marriage with? What is it about this person? And this couple shared, it is the togetherness. It is the partnership. It's knowing that we can rely on each other, knowing that no matter what happens, we'll work through it together, we'll pioneer it together, and we will co-create together. So that is part of this practice. When we do Adventures in Spirituality every year, we do it from a place of togetherness. So it's an invitation to come together. And just like you would if you had an exercise group or if you made a commitment to someone else, you do it together. You make that commitment together, and that makes us stronger as a team. So think about your level of commitment. Think about how you want to participate this year, because you have people that are incredible, that are willing to support you, and they're right here in this spiritual community. And if you are here for the first time today, it is your divine appointment. You have come on exactly the right day. So I invite you really to take that leap and to get involved so that you can experience your transformation. The other thing that happens every year when we do the Adventures of Spirituality experience is that connections are formed. Now, you might think that seems little or light, but I have seen people be a part of this community for years and never really get to know other people. And then I have had the beauty of being able to watch people dive in and learn about the people that are next to them and how incredible they are, how amazing they are, and find lifelong friendships and develop a sense of family and a sense of belonging in their community that they never had before. People that they can partner with to do activities in their lives and to do activities for better in this world. So I can't even really encapsulate that, but you know what it's like when, if you go back from a relationship that is crazy important to you, like pick someone that you just can't imagine living your life without. You can't imagine it. And then go back to the moment that you met them. What was happening, where you were, how simple it seemed, or how chance, by chance it seemed that you ran across them. But then something happened. Somehow a connection was made, a link was made, an invitation was made, or something vulnerable was shared. And you let something that could have been nothing grow into something more. And maybe that was the beginning of a marriage. Maybe that was the first day of the rest of your life with someone. Maybe it was a friendship that you just can't imagine being on this planet without. Maybe it was a family member, like someone who's just really become a part of your emotional family, not your family of birth, but your life family, your spirit family. Think about that, and think about how you could have just walked by. You could have not said yes. I remember a drive with a friend. I had just met her not too long ago, and she had, we connected, at the little lunch that we had, but not too deeply. And then she had said, I'm going on this overnight retreat, and would you like to go with me? And I thought, a little internal kind of introversion, anxiety, but I said, yes, I would like to do that with you. And as I said, yes, she got in the car with me. We had an hour-long drive and started sharing her life story. And then she asked me to share my life story. And so we had an hour of connecting on the road there and on the way back. And it created within us a bond that lasts to this day, a 10-year plus bond. Someone that is on the planet that is very, very dear to me. And, I wouldn't have initiated something like that. I would have been a little too uncomfortable or a little too introverted or scared, but all I had to do was say yes. All I had to do was get in that car and say, even though it's uncomfortable, I'm going to go on this ride. So friends, this is your Sunday. This is your day. This book has things for you. This group has things for you. This Sunday series has things for you. Are you ready to say yes? I hope you join me on this adventure in consciousness. Namaste. So we have something special this Sunday. We have another conversation to deepen the experience of what it can be to engage in small groups, to engage in a book study, a book series that we have together, and to engage in committing to 8 weeks of spiritual conversation on Sunday mornings, where we just dive into the same topic together and have a spiritual practice together. So I have some special friends here with me this Sunday morning to talk about their experience, to talk about small groups, and to talk about what might be in store for you when you take the deep dive and you give yourself a yes to participate more deeply, fully, and vulnerably in the adventure in spirituality that's available to you. So Linda Ray, you have been in Unity forever and ever and ever. You're one of our babies born into Unity, grown in Unity, and you also are a real cheerleader, let's say, for small groups. So not only are you a real cheerleading instructor, but you are also a cheerleader for small groups. And this has been a lifelong study for you. And I mean, not just study like you think about this. I mean, you actually take notes during Sunday conversations. I can see you with your notepad. I know that, you know, when we go back to topics, you find power moments. And I know that you take these principles and you take our Sunday conversations and you make them more than a Sunday experience. You make them a part of your life. And so you've had the gift of framing your life through the spiritual lens of our 5 basic principles. And how would you describe the impact of small groups or adult learning from a series like this for someone who, you know, already knows the principles, has been doing this for years, and maybe they just, you know, never got involved or never committed for the whole time, either to the Sunday conversations or to signing up for a group? What can you tell us about the transforming power of actually saying yes and engaging in a commitment and diving in more deeply?
Small groups are my life. And as I've been thinking about starting another series of adventures in spirituality, small groups are a continuation of the legacy. I mean, Unity itself started in Myrtle's living room. I mean, Unity is the consciousness of what can happen in a small group. So I just carry it in my heart everywhere I go. I just feel like that small group also means love class, because to me, Myrtle said life is school. She said life is a classroom, life is school. And I feel like in a small group, we are all teachers, we are all students, and there's just this flow of abundant communion. It just fills my heart. And yes, anybody that knows me knows that I love to be in more than one group, which is an understatement. I feel like the heart-to-heart connections that we can make in a small group, I mean, we're getting to know each other, we get to laugh together. It's not all just serious stuff. It's like crazy people. I'm with my peeps. We are all exploring together and we're just having fun. And I think through the small groups, I've been able to continue to elevate my consciousness of communion, like what Reverend Erin's been talking about. And most of all, I think that my small groups and my commitment to saying yes to being in those groups and just showing up and just opening my heart, it keeps me grounded in gratitude. And I try to live my day in gratitude and always remembering that I am so thankful for this church and for this experience. And every day I'm like, look at the people I get to be with in my class today, because it's almost every day that I'm in a class, but and look how many books are accumulating on my bookshelves. And you know, it's just my life, and I'm just so honored to be able to be part of this church and to be in these small groups and to stay grounded in gratitude. And thank you, Reverend Erin, for making it possible for us to soar like a kite, but stay grounded like an anvil. You are both anvil and kite to me and to our community, and I really appreciate you. Love you.
Oh, Linda, thank you. Thank you. And I appreciate you. Anyone in this community that knows you knows that you are always behind the scenes, lifting us up, organizing us, and bringing everything to the next level of heart connection. So thank you for your heartfelt commitment to your spiritual practice and your spiritual community. So thank you. So Sanja, you were our ministerial intern recently. And funny thing about that, so you're on your way to being ordained as Unity minister. You have been a spiritual leader of a community for quite some time now. And you had an internship that ended a while ago, but you are still here, I noticed. So you are very engaged and very active in our community. And we are so delighted and honored by your presence and your gifts of service here. And of your own accord, beyond your time as an intern, you're here participating. And by the way, she hosts the Zoom room, the virtual sanctuary, once a month. And she also hosts Coffee Connect. And you can see her in the deep dive discussion after every Sunday service. So what I want to have you share with us is, what do you value about Unity Village Chapel specifically, and small groups particularly, if you want to dive into that? But what do you think people can expect to find when they go deeper with Unity Village Chapel into an adventure in spirituality? Because clearly you have a reason for being here. I'm sure that your schedule isn't just endlessly open. And so I'm honored by your presence. And I would just love to hear a little bit more about what inspires you to be here and how that might connect with others in our community who want to take their practice deeper.
Well, thank you. First of all, I'm honored by all of you. Reverend Erin, I am so glad that my journey brought me here. I love the way you're steeped in your unity principles and you speak from that, because a lot of people, I think they need to pull in so many things. And so I've been so blessed to be in a place because I firmly believe in the principles, and I don't think you really need to add. So you can just to compliment, but I don't think you have to add anything to them. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate Linda, because if she doesn't have her notes and she's not there in the deep dive, sometimes I don't even remember what I thought, because I've come to rely on you. Two things come to mind when I think about this. First Corinthians 12, 12th chapter, one body, many members. So as we come together over the weeks, there is a merging that takes place. Maybe it's like siblings or best friends or even family, but it's not that you just lose yourself in this group. It actually makes you stronger as you find your voice amongst people that it's a sacred place. And it really does, just like Linda was saying, it gives you a place to soar. And you see the value in each person's perspective and how they're going to, like if something new is presented, you actually look forward to, well, I want to hear what Linda has to say, because she tends to see things differently from me. And so you can take it all in as an acceptance and then see what part of that can resonate with you, maybe to add to your own idea of how to flourish and think differently. And I've learned so many things. I think about Patricia, she said, we were talking about something, and she said, I have to remember, did I allow that person's safe passage through my mind? And I said, wow, that is deep. And I use that a lot now. So yeah. in that setting, I've learned so much. The second thing that comes to mind is we're good individually, but we're better together. And so when we can put all those egos aside and truly come together in a way that, like I said, we know we're not losing ourselves, we're actually growing. Oh, the things that we can actually get done. And those, and whatever group you're in, I don't think there's a such thing as a small group, it's just small consciousness. And we can, the ripples and the energy, the vibrations that we create here weekly, this can change the world. This can go forth because the energy we project, it's infecting people. It's infectious, a good infection,
right?
It's a good infection. And we go forth, and people, one of the things that I love about this teaching is we can radiate in such a way that we don't have to be Bible thumpers going around hitting people over the head with Bibles or Charles Fillmore or whatever. People will come to you and go, what is that you're doing? Where do I go get some of that? And then the next thing you know, you got a convert, and all you did was live your life to the fullest. And to me, that's the way to do it. That's how you bring people into the fold. That's how you keep the community strong. That's how you keep learning more and giving more. And so this place is a grand and great example of these principles and how we can go forth and make this, not only embody it, but bring it to the world. So thank you very, very much.
You have inspired me. Thank you.
Thank
you are so right on it. So true. Everything that you shared. Thank you, Sonda.
Thank you.
So Mary Roseman. All right. Here's what I know about you. You are deep. You are not a joiner. You're a thinker. And in your spiritual practice, you get downright gritty, and you like to go to vulnerability. And you like to go to where the healing actually happens. It's not enough for you to read something, to think about it, to show up somewhere for a practice on a Sunday morning. I can remember early conversations that we had about how long you kind of knew about this place before you actually put your foot in the water. And then when you did, you were like, Wow, this is interesting. Wow, let me have some of that. And you are known for what is it you say every time that we come up with something in our conversations that's really bringing it to the next level? I know you for going, that's juicy. So what I know about you is that you do vulnerable, courageous work of transformation. You are not leaving your principles at just book learning or interest or intellectual. You live your life where the rubber meets the road. And I want to know what you have to say about the potential of an 8-week series like this for small groups, and what that potential is for supporting someone's awakening, their healing, their transformation, their emancipation from suffering, their healing, and just in general, helping themselves through the practice of principles.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And hi, everybody. It's been a while. I love everyone out there. I'm just I don't know how to do it any other way. And so I've been recently kind of isolating myself, and I wasn't living the principles, you know? And so when I came back, I'm reading Father Rohr's book, and I'm working with the group as we're preparing for AIS, and I'm feeling like a victim, and that's how I was kind of living my life. However, with the beauty of small groups, I did have my groups, and I had my good days, and I had my connected days. And then I start reading Father Rohr's book, and then I start interacting with the group, and I realize, and so the fact that I get this question, there are no accidents, right? So basically, and we've been through this, right? We've been living this for years. It pulled me out in a matter of minutes. And the principle that Father Rohr, I'm a ex-Catholic, no longer recovering, I'm an ex-Catholic. And so the beauty of these books, right? Think of last year's books and now this year's books and how it pertains. And I get to see from a Catholic's purview, and the man is so courageous in his presentation. Yes. And the principles that he brings to us are the unity principles. It's to hold to our truth, hold to our connection, listen to our inner guidance. You don't need to defend yourself any more than I'm divinely guided on this. At the same time, you hold the space for the other human being, because their journey is entirely different from your journey. And that's the whole purpose of all of this, so that spirit can experience humanity or form in different ways. So if I'm feeling projected by somebody and I go in a victim role, it's such a waste and ludicrous time, because I know my divine guidance. I know what I'm supposed to be experiencing. Why in the world would I question my experience? And why would I question your experience? And so that's what I came from all of this after I got all, out of the way of the victimhood part of it. And that's, so 8 weeks, we get to dive into 8 weeks of this. And, we'll, on the Wednesday night deep dives, we're mostly going to focus on the appendix or the workbook part. I always say it's kind of like Course in Miracles. We'll be doing the appendix part of it while bringing into some of the theory. And it's all, yes, I can't go any other way but deep. It's not my nature. If I want to, when I read something, when I really want to experience it, I just don't want to read it. And yes, it is nerve-wracking. It is scary. And then you have to be like, oh my God, how many weeks did I waste this time? But there's so much exhilaration at the end of it when you realize, and now you're connected again. Now you've peeled a layer. And I don't say that, well, I don't say this anymore, but it's just like, bring it on. Next lesson. Now I don't want, I don't want to encourage that.
In gentle and graceful ways, bring it on.
But I feel pretty cocky after I'm coming out of it, and I feel very connected and very the divine that I am. And that's what I want to shine, and that's what I want to share with everybody. And so I want you to know that even when you're going through the deepest depression or whatever, and you can't see and you're not connected, that's what this is all about. And it's just an absolute privilege to be part of the journey when someone's experiencing that. And so I say thank you, ladies, because you were there for me and you pulled me out in a very subtle way, but it worked, right? And that's what it's all about. And when you live the principles, and we're going to forget sometimes, and that's okay. So I hope that addresses everything. And yeah, and I can't wait to see y'all Wednesday nights.
Yes, yes. And that Wednesday night group is open to anyone. You don't have to have signed up for a small group to attend it. You can just let us know if you'd like to attend it. But if you do sign up for a small group, you will automatically get the registration information for that Wednesday night group. And so you can go ahead and join that whenever you want to. It can be a drop-in, or you can attend every week. So Reverend Brenda Ehret, we have here, you are a Unity minister. You have been living and teaching the principles for years, both individually and with a congregational community. And you have been in small groups, you have facilitated small groups, you're facilitating one of our small groups, as is everyone here. Wednesday night deep dive is Mary. Linda is facilitating, hosting a group. You'll be able to see Sanja on the Sunday afternoon group, and Reverend Brenda has a group as well. So what I would love for you to share is, I know about you that you are clear, you are conscious about commitment, you are conscious about the impact that a commitment can have. And what I know is that you do not mess around with fluff. If something is fluff and it doesn't really have power to it, you are not in the room. You are not in the room. You're not in the bar. You're not in the house. You're not in the conversation. You are somewhere else, because you don't mess around with things that don't have a real impact on our lives. So what impact can a series like this have on people's lives and in the life of a community? And what do you have for us as far as what potential people are looking at right here in this moment? Because I am big on knowing that there are divine moments, and we are always offered so much, but so much of it we just blink and let it pass us by.
Well, thank you, Reverend Erin. I am double dog delighted to be invited to lead, facilitate, host a small group. I'm excited about the opportunity, and I totally agree with what my colleagues have said about the benefits of being in a small group. And I would add just a couple of things. My experience in facilitating small groups has shown me over and over and over again the critical importance of creating a safe arena for raw vulnerability and trust. That opens up a heart connection among, first of all, myself and the participants, and also among the participants. And I think another key piece of a bonus of participating in a small group is we get to remember that we are not alone. When we are in the ditch, when we are on the outs, when we are wherever feeling disconnected, and we get to hear other people's personal experiences on the path, I think that's very powerful. And collectively, there's so much connection between people in the group, and collectively that group creates an upward spiral in the ministry. And Linda, remind me, how many small groups will we be having during this 8-week series? Is it 6?
Yes, I believe we have 6.
Okay, so think about that. The impact of 6 small groups swirling within Unity Village Chapel, way beyond the walls, because we're not in walls, way beyond the walls to impact the community. So I hope that responds to your question. And also, Erin, quickly, can I mention a couple of things about the book?
Absolutely. This is the book. It's Richard Rohr's The Naked Now. He is a Franciscan priest. And I would love to hear what you think about the book. I'd love for any of you to share your favorite quote from the book, or you could share like because you got the preview copy. So what did you think when you started diving into it?
Well, first of all, I have taken on one particular spiritual practice since I first opened the book. Richard Rohr talks about Yahweh, the name Yahweh, which to me feels extremely sacred, and how we can use that as a breath practice. Yah is the inhale, way. And so I've been using that practice for my anchoring and centering. And let's fast forward to kind of the middle of the book, chapters 10 through 12. Here's what I want to say about this, boys and girls. Prepare to have the sides of your mind blown away. I just feel like in that particular chapter, my paradigm of who and what, particularly Jesus, the way shower, who and what Jesus is and what that journey was about, holy cow, paradigm dismantled. And then the following chapters really allow us to question the foundation which we have built and been standing since, I don't know, probably toddlerhood, the foundation of our belief system. What is it rooted in? What is it about? And just taking that apart. I could talk forever about this book, Erin. I want to say that it was a superb choice for this study, and I am wriggling to get into it with the folks in my group. Thank you.
Thank you. So who else wants to share your favorite quote or how you felt about the book when you got to dive into it? I can remember a little bit about your first words that you all said when you got it. And I got the texts back that, yep, this is the one.
Mhm. Right. I'd like to share a quote. Okay. And just keep in mind, as Richard just was talking about this, he's talking about the Catholic faith, but I'll tell you how that pertains to my Unity experience. Our faith is not a faith that dogmas or moral opinions are true, but a faith that ultimate reality, God, Jesus, is accessible to us and even on our side. Jesus was able to touch and heal people who trusted him as an emissary of God's love, not people who assessed intellectual statements and decided whether they were true or false. And this was Faith is More How to Believe Than What to Believe chapter. And so what I got to see is I left the church. Of course, I was a victim then for years, doing Course in Miracles, kind of dipping my toe in Unity. I got to see how I have created a Unity dogma. You know, and so now I'm busy. I'm aware, how am I going to undo all of this? Because this is all about my connection with my Holy Spirit, with the ultimate reality of God, Jesus, and they're accessible to me. And that I don't, all of this is wonderful. And I'm going to utilize it with community, but I don't need to keep intellectualizing all of this. And I don't consider myself an intellectualizer, but I do like to chat it till it just needs to stop. So I love this. I love this. And I love Richard Rohr. So thank you.
One of the stories that I really identified with was a story of Martha and Mary when Jesus was visiting. And because I'm like, oh gosh, I think I am Martha. running around doing everything, whereas Mary was presencing Jesus being there. And so this one line here, it was a really good learning for me about being present. If you are present, you will eventually and always experience the presence. That story alone, it was just like, it's one of my major learnings from this book so far.
Yes, thank you, Linda. Yeah, Richard Rohr knows how to really go into the metaphysics of a scripture story, into the beyond meaning, you know, not the literal, but going, why is this story here? What does this have for me as far as my internal dynamics, my spiritual practice? And we know that he is a Franciscan who runs a contemplative center. So he leads meditations, he runs retreats out west. And so he has a deep practice, and he is giving everyone an invitation to break the mold of what they think they know, how they think they read something or learned something, or whether it's dogma, whether it's scripture, whether it's how we meet the world around us with religion, and get it to a heart level and get it to an intuitive level. Sonja, what was something that stood out to you around the book?
Well, I have not had an opportunity to read the book. I love the title alone, but I did want to say, I mentioned that I do also teach a yoga class on Friday mornings from 9:30 to 10:15. And that is another small group where we've really bonded, and we've been able to do some expression through movement and releasing, you know, things through the hips or the shoulders or whatever we need to do. But I do plan to be a part of one of the Richard Rohr groups as well. The title alone to me is powerful. So
yeah, the naked now. And yoga is a great way to take these practices and make them experiential. So if you are interested in that and getting into another small group where you can actually move the we say move the energy, but it's like take something that touched you deeply and engage in a body, mind, spirit practice with that. That can be another incredible opportunity. So the title of the book is The Naked Now, Learning to See as the Mystics See by Richard Rohr. We hope to see you here on Sunday mornings. We hope that you might engage in the Wednesday night deep dive. And if it feeds your heart, we hope that you will consider connecting with a small group for the next 8 weeks. And remember that you can also facilitate your own small group. So you could have friends, family members that live in other states, that live in other areas, and you could just get the book, order the book for them, and say, hey, will you join me once a week to have a deeper conversation on this? Will you join me in a Zoom room or just on the phone or in person at a coffee shop, so that we can take this to the next level? Because I want to experience this with community. So I hope you engage in that way and you take on this adventure and spirituality that is offered to you. Have a blessed Sunday. Namaste.